Hello. We're here to talk to you about the Sovereign App Store Collective. Next slide, please. I'm Adam. I'm a game dev. I work at Proof of Play, and we're building a game called Pirate Nation. And
I'm James, building Footium.
So the problem statement that we're here to talk to you about is game devs don't realize that Arbitrum is the best place to build a game. I'm coming from the games building background, and we did a ton of research. We spun up a lot of vendors. We talked to 1 million people. We spent a lot of time. We negotiated. And at the end, it was very clear that Arbitrum, and specifically the Orbit chains, were the only right answer as of today. But that is not very clear to other people who are in the space today. And so we want to figure out how to make that easier and more clear value prop for other game builders who want to come to Arbitrum.
Building the Web3 part of a Web3 game is really tough. There are so many third-party integrations you need to think about, so many service providers you need to speak with. And for any given function, you may need to speak to 5 service providers. And each of those conversations are going to take a long amount of time. And there's ultimately a large amount of friction abstracting away the Web3 aspect for your users. And we want to think about, where are game developers coming from? A lot of them are coming from mobile game development. And as part of mobile, as a mobile games developer, they have access to all the suite of services provided by the Google Play Store, the App Store. They have immediate access to one-click payments, attribution, distribution for updates and downloading the game. And crucially, having everything in one place and having some legitimate party kind of give that rubber stamp, that gives developers certainty, which reduces the friction of actually building their core game.
Sorry, we're looking at a screen over here and it's not. Okay, so what's the solution? So we want Arbitrum DAO to hire specifically a game dev, someone who's built a few games ideally, and in the space, who has talked to the vendors, understands it very deeply, knows what works, what doesn't work, and we want them to go out and speak to other builders, have them do a survey of the landscape of all the different vendors that are out there that are required to set up a game. And just from my own experience, we have about 14 vendors that are required to have Pirate Nation running today. That's 14 times 2 or 3 or 4 conversations and negotiations, et cetera. We want ArbDAO to go out, talk to builders, find out who are the best of the best, work with them, negotiate with them, and then come back to the building community and say, hey, we have preferred pricing for you, we have credits, and if you want an indexer, if you want a credit card payment provider, these are the people. Don't waste your time. This is the stack. We'll introduce you. You're good to go. And so we want to build, I'm going to let James talk about what the product actually looks like.
Cool. Thanks. What we want is a one-stop shop where developers can find out what they need to build their product, who to contact, and a cost estimate of how much those service providers will take. And we want that to be a Notion page which kind of aggregates all the different providers. And as Adam mentioned, someone contracted by the DAO will have curated these service providers that we think are the best in the ecosystem. And then they would be given they would be shown on the Notion page. And ultimately, this Notion page would serve to drive customers to these service providers and also to help the developers find out who to work with. Then if we got success with that MVP, and success is measured in a large number of real users on Arbitrum Gaming as opposed to other chains, because ultimately these tools serve to abstract away the complexity of onboarding, then we would want to build out a website. And then this website would help developers understand the exact design space that they need to evaluate for their project. And in order to build this website, we would request another tranche of financing, let's say 10K US, in order to build out the website and maintain it over a period of time.
So yeah, like I said, we're really interested in just growing the Arbitrum gaming ecosystem. We think the DAO can be really helpful. Eventually, we would potentially ask for funding to actually fund some of these service providers. They're expensive. If you want to get a game up and running today, it costs a lot of money, a lot of time. And if you can remove that upfront friction and you can just make it simple for people to deploy, they can focus on the thing that really matters, which is building fun games. And games is by far the largest entertainment space. If Arbitrum could score a bunch of large-scale games, it'd be a massive win for the DAO in terms of back-end revenue, and also for the foundation and for just for all of us who are potentially ARB token holders as well. So Yep, my time is up. But yeah, we're really excited to help grow the Arbitrum gaming ecosystem. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Team 8. That was great. Just before we go, big round of applause. Just before we go, have we got any questions in the audience? I can bring the microphone over if anyone has any questions for Team 8. Raise hands. Here we go. Did you have a question? No? It was just a little wave? Okay. All right. We're going to go on to our...
We got one question in the back.
Oh, all right. Okay, I'm going to bring this microphone over. Just give me a second. Here we go.
Hey, Adam, I think it would be helpful if you could just shamelessly shill your product and give people an idea of like what a product can do on an Orbit Nova chain, because it was something I wasn't familiar with. I didn't think we were there yet. Yeah. And when I met you, you were like, yeah, here, it's mainnet.
Yeah, sure. So this problem statement is uniquely, like our problem, right? This is not just like we came up with this, like we went through this experience ourselves. It was very time consuming and expensive. So the game that I'm working on is called Pirate Nation. We're actually migrating. I'm supposed to be quarterbacking the migration like right now, but I'm very busy at the moment. We're moving to our Orbit chain in the next like couple hours. Our chain is called Apex. What we've done and what we're trying to accomplish is we want to onboard your mom, your cousin, your brother who thinks crypto is a scam but loves to play games. And we want them to be able to play games without realizing they're playing crypto games. And I know a lot of people talk about that, and like, that's the big vision. We've actually accomplished it. I have a 9-year-old friend, or my friend's daughter, I should say, who's been playing Pirate Nation every single day for the past 2.5 months. She knows nothing about crypto. She's 9, so like she's in 3rd grade. She knows nothing about crypto. She doesn't know about wallets. I sent her a code to play the game, and she onboarded completely on her own. She plays every single day. She can go to our marketplace, gaslessly list on our marketplace, which is powered by Reservoir, and she can buy items, which is powered by Crossmint. We basically were able to daisy chain a series of vendors together to create a Web 2 experience that is fully on-chain. And our thesis is that we believe that in the future, if you build something like this, a Web 3 game will be easier for game devs to build than a Web 2 game. Like that's our company thesis at Proof of Play. And we were trying to enable that in building the tooling. So we built our own VRF, we built our own relayer, we built our own account abstraction technology. We have this thing we built called mirroring, and mirroring allows you to have your NFTs on one chain and have the gameplay be on another chain. So we have these founders parts, which are the premier asset in our collection. They live on Ethereum because that's where the money is. That's where the collectors are. But the gameplay is going to be taking place on Apex chain, or was previously Nova until some project just decided to spike the gas insanely and send our bills to like Valhalla. And we are able to do this. Like people don't realize that this is possible. Like you can just have assets talking to each other cross chain. I think there was another team that was working on this, and they came over to me. They're like, "We want to build this cross-chain messaging service." And I was like, "Oh, we built it. Like here, we like open sourced a lot of the technology. It's called mirroring." So a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the things that you want to do to build Web3 games are already possible today if you invest in it. But it's really time-consuming to do the research and the diligence. And we at Proof of Play believe that everyone wins if there's more games generally. And the way you build more games, you just make it easier and remove the friction. And there's just way too much friction. And this is where this idea came from.
Thanks, Adam. That was great.